illustrious and most worshipful Gene Cobb, who is the SGIG in the great state of North Kakalaki, as I have heard said by a few of your brothers.
Carolina.
Which is one of my favorite places to visit. And you are, for folks who don't know what all that means, is he was at one point in time the Grand Master of North Carolina, and he is currently the SGIG, or active member of the Supreme Council in North Carolina. And you guys had a tremendous 2023 in the Scottish Rite in North Carolina. So what was your secret to excitement and enthusiasm that you brought? I know that had to be part of it, because this is a man with a lot of energy.
I think the most important part of it all is the guys that we have in North Carolina. I'm very blessed to be surrounded by an outstanding leadership team in every valley. Our Orient leaders, our Orient chairpersons, who do the work for right care, Americanism, membership, communications, public relations, the Journal, which is now an online newsletter, our golf tournament. These folks just do an incredible job all the time. And I think surrounding yourself with the best people is the best key for success in anything you do.
Find good people, let them do good things, and most importantly, stay out of their way.
Exactly. I mean, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, then everything's going to work out very well. And I learned that from one of the greatest basketball coaches to have ever lived, and that was Dean Smith at Chapel Hill.
Let's talk a little bit about illustrious Brother Cobb before Masonry. What brought you to the door of Freemasonry to give those three distinct knocks?
Well, it's an interesting little story. I'd always wanted to be a Mason ever since my grandfather took me in to the lodge when I was 6 years old. But nobody ever invited me to join. So one day I was pastor of a United Methodist church for 45 years before I retired. And one day in 1993, I was trying to schedule a meeting, a church meeting, a board meeting. And the guy I was trying to schedule a meeting with, he never could do it on the first or third Tuesday night. And so I just up and said, I can't stand you Masons. I said, you won't work with me trying to do something. I've always wanted to be a member, and you've never asked me. And he had this real weird looking grin on his face. His name was J.C. Robbins.
The same one I've got right now.
Yeah, same one. Yeah. and I figured it out real quick, and he said, I've got a petition out in my truck. And I mean, within 15 seconds, he was out the door and back with that petition.
That's a good Mason.
Yeah, and the journey began in February of 1993. And by the end of April, I was sitting in my first annual communication of the Grand Lodge of North Carolina.
Wonderful.
It was just that quick, but we were real fortunate.
And then eventually you go on through the Grand Line and all those things. How about the Scottish Rite? What brought you to that temple door?
Again, same guy.
Now I like this guy.
The same guy.
I like this guy.
The same guy, J.C. Robbins. He knew that as a preacher I had a very busy schedule. And he said, hey, I got an opportunity for you. And I said, what's that? He said, well, we got this one-day reunion in Greensboro. You see, if you know anything about the geography of North Carolina, and you look on the map, you'll see Mount Gilead, which is where we were, is about an hour from Charlotte. And that's where everybody in that lodge went to Scottish Rite, except J.C. He went to Greensboro. And he said, why don't you come on up there and do that? And I said, okay. So I kind of got to whispering with some other guys, hey, I'm going up to Greensboro to take the Scottish Rite degrees. 4 other guys decided to go, and all the 5 of us went up, took our degrees, and ever since that time, we all got active in Greensboro and in the lodge there in Mount Gilead, and Blackmer 127 in Mount Gilead, and The Greensboro Scottish Rite Valley is, I guess you could say they've been the benefactors of what happened.